Ooh, it's horse beef, man. I'm talking about UFC 320. Today I'm going to give you my full card predictions from bottom to top, man. So let's just get going because this might take a little while. We got Veronica Hardy versus Brogan Walker. Now, I usually pick the more masculine looking lady for my female predictions, but in this case I'm picking Veronica Hardy. And I don't really know why. I just feel like Brogan Walker, I don't know. I'm not sure if I've ever seen her fight. To be real with you guys, but it's hard to forget watching Veronica Hardy fight. She's a pretty girl. She's got a nice smile and shit. But she is quite small. If we're talking about her actual fighting ability, she's actually quite technical. She just lacks really the physical prowess and the size. She's really small compared to a lot of these ladies, especially all the roided out Brazilians at women's flyweight. Veronica Hardy is just outmatched in the physicality department. So she really does lean on her actual skill. Right, and she is a technical lady, and I think she has enough here to outpoint Brogan Walker. I do not see her finishing Brogan Walker, even though I don't know anything about Brogan Walker, right? So if this is some next level female prospect for whatever reason, then I guess let me know, because I don't know who she is. And then we get Ramiz Brahimaj versus Austin Vanderford. Now, this is a tough one, right? Both guys in pretty good form. Brahimaj, I think he was off for 2 years due to injuries. Since he's come back, he's looked pretty good, picking up finish after finish. But Austin Vanderford, he looked pretty good against Veretennikov, man. Was very dominant there. I thought Veretennikov would get it done, but I was very much wrong. Austin really surprised me there, and I think he can get this one done with his wrestling and his overall top control. And I believe that he can control Ramiz Brahimaj, or Brahimaj, however you pronounce the name, to a decision. I could see Austin Vanderford winning this one, but he'll have to play it safe on the feet because Ramiz Brahimaj obviously hits like a truck and has a big advantage on the feet, dude. So keep the striking exchanges to a minimum, or I could definitely see him getting cracked and finished here. But I back Austin Vanderford to impose his will on the ground and grind out a decision here. But this could be a fun one, man. Brahimaj is no one. Brahimaj, listen, I don't know how to say it, but he's no one to count out, absolutely. He's in good form. But I back Austin here. And moving on up the card, then we get Punelle Soriano versus Nikolai Veretennikov. And it's a fun fight, I believe, dude. Puna has looked pretty good, man. The Poon Man, he's looked very good since going down to welterweight. And it was just the perfect career move for him. He was always too small for middleweight, relied too much on his power. But now moving down, he looks in better shape, right? And he retained that power. If anything, the power is even more consequential down at welterweight. Right, and he hits like a truck, man. He really does. And Veretennikov, he's tough, he's decent, he's well-rounded, decent kickboxer, decent wrestler. But I back Puna to catch him. I back the Poon Man to catch him on the chin. I'm going to say in the first round. Punelle, he's been looking real fast at welterweight. I back him here. Yeah, Poon Man by first round KO, I believe. We then get Patches against Jakub Viklach. Now, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his name. So if it is or it isn't, just let me know in the comment section below. If you know how to pronounce his name, please shed some light on it. But this is a tough one because I feel like these are similar fighters in many ways. They don't mind striking, and they're tough. They're willing to go into the fire for Brazilian jiu-jitsu nerds, right? These two are kind of like the dogs of the bunch, out of all those nerds. They're actually willing to scrap it out. And I respect that about these two. Based on what I've seen from Jakub in his highlights that I've watched, that seems to be the kind of fighter that he is, and I respect that. And I'm not sure if he's ready for this level, right? Just like Patchy wasn't ready for the UFC level, I feel like Viklach won't be ready for this level, but I'm ready to be proven wrong. But I honestly think this fight will turn out to be a really, really sloppy barn burner. I think these guys are going to bang it out. I think they will potentially cancel one another out on the ground, and it'll just be a sloppy barn burner that I look very much forward to. And you know what I'm going to predict here? I'm picking Patches. I'm picking Patches to win this one via a decision. Both these dudes seem to be tough as nails. But as I said, just like Patchy was showing levels against Mario Batista, I believe he may just show levels to Jakub here, right? But at the same time, he looked like total shit against fucking Mario Batista. Holy shit, man. Picking Patchy Mix is a tough task after that fight, but yeah, I'm picking him, dude. I love his name, right? So I can't help but pick him. Patchy Mix via decision, and it's getting a little bit alarming how many decisions I'm predicting. I really hope that I'm incorrect about that. Then we get Macy Chiasson versus Yana Santos. Now, listen, I don't want to put too much thought into it because I don't really care too much for this fight, but I am ultimately going to pick Macy Chiasson. I feel like she's been up against higher level competition, and she's done well against higher level competition than Yana Santos has. And I think she'll win this one. I'm going to say second round sub. I think she is better everywhere this fight can go realistically. Then we get into a very intriguing one, man. The first fight on the prelims, Daniel Santos versus Ju Sang Yu. Now, Ju Sang Yu, I believe, is coming out here to avenge his Korean brethren. I think Daniel Santos, he beat some other Korean dude last time out, and I actually picked against Daniel Santos, and he looked good, man. He looked well-rounded. Looked pretty good on the feet. The boxing looked good. Grappling looked good. But Ju Sang Yu, Zombie Jr., he's sharp. He's sharp. I remember watching his fight on Dana White Looking for a Fight, I believe it was, and just recognizing that this dude seems different. He seems like one of those fighters with a serious striking pedigree, like that real X factor on the feet. Like, watch his knockout against, I think it was Sergey. He just placed that left hook just on the chin at the perfect time, slept the dude. He has the X factor, and I think he's going to KO Daniel Santos in the first round. And I hope to fucking God I'm not wrong here and this guy gets fraud checked, because he's a prospect that I'm actually quite high on. Ju Sang Yu by first round knockout here. And then we get Chris Gutierrez versus Javid Basharat. Now, both of these guys are like point fighters. Realistically, they don't really possess a whole lot of danger. And Chris Gutierrez is a super safe fighter. And for that reason, I want Farid Basharat to go out there, retain that O, and just beat up Chris Gutierrez. I'm not a fan of his fight style. I'm really not. He leans heavily on leg kicks and footwork and pretty much pussyfooting around the octagon. Meanwhile, Farid Basharat, he's more of a dog, all right? Like, he likes to get in there. He's very technical. He's well-rounded. I liked watching Farid fight. He doesn't really have a whole lot of finishing potential, right? Similar to Chris Gutierrez. So I think both of these dudes will have a nice little technical fight on the feet, and Farid Basharat will just edge it out here. That's what I'm predicting. I think a 29-28 decision for Farid Basharat is the logical call here. And as we move up the card, we get onto Edmund Shabazian versus Andre Muniz. Now, kind of a tough one because Andre Muniz is a pretty strong wrestler, and he's very technical on the ground. Obviously, his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is high level. Snapped Jacare Souza's arm, for fuck's sake, right? Anyone who can snatch an arm from Jacare Souza is obviously quite high level in terms of their BJJ. But Edmund Shabazian, he's been in good form. He's coming into his prime years as well. While Andre Muniz, I feel like, has been declining. Like that shot that he took from Aliskarov that put him down didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And Edmund Shabazian, say what you want about him, the man can crack. And I think he's going to crack Andre Muniz. I'm going to say second round. Second round TKO. I think he'll drop him and then finish him with ground and pound. Yeah, Edmund's been in pretty good form. I like the look of him recently. Then we get into the prelim headliner between Atiba Gauthier and Ozzy Diaz. What is the hairline? Is that a haircut choice, or is that the hairline from Ozzy Diaz? I have no clue. But 6'4" against 6'4", just the most polar opposite physiques that you can imagine. Atiba Gauthier has a ridiculously big head. Look at those traps. This dude is a physical specimen, and yeah, he's gonna win, right? He's not just a physical beast, he's also very technical on the feet. He has great hands. Listen, Ozzy Diaz is getting beat up here, and I think he's gonna get taken out in the first round. I do. Atiba Gauthier, I don't think he's a hype job. I just think he's fucking scary, man. And yeah, first round KO for Atiba Gauthier once again, I believe. Then we get into the fucking main card, man. Abu Magomedov versus Joe Pyfer. You pretty much have two round one fighters here. But if you expect this fight to get past the first, I think the only logical pick would be Abu, because he has more methods to win here, right? And I don't think that he'll finish Joe Pyfer. I really don't. I don't think he'll finish Joe Pyfer. I think if this fight ends in a finish, it'll be Joe Pyfer KOing Abu in the first round. But I feel like in that first, man, Abu is also pretty dangerous on the feet. He does have some power, and he has more weapons, right? Joe Pyfer, he just spams the overhand, right? He loves the overhand. That's all he looks for. He just throws it over and over again. And obviously he has big power in his shots, right? He possesses big power, but that's all he has. He almost as one-dimensional as a fighter gets. And I back Abu Magomedov because of his well-rounded skill set to edge out a decision here. I think by winning rounds 2 and 3, I could even see him potentially winning via sub, maybe in the second round. But the longer this fight goes, the more boring and sloppy it's going to end up being anyway. But I don't know, man. Joe Pyfer on a main card like this at this stage in his career does not make sense. But yeah, Abu Magomedov by decision, I believe. And let's move on to the next fight up the card. We get Josh Emmett versus Yusuf Zalal. Now, this is the perfect fight for Zalal to go out there and win. right? We've seen him when he's on his bike. He's hard to catch. He's very hard to catch. He's slick with the footwork, right? He always got a nice jab and all that. But I don't see him finishing Josh Emmett. I think the only way that he's going to win this one is to pussyfoot around the octagon like he did against Calvin Kattar. Once again, I don't see him finishing this fight. I think if this fight ends via finish, it'll be Josh Emmett cracking Zalal as he's trying to pull back on a shot or some shit, or roll under something, eats an uppercut. Like, I want Josh Emmett to win. To be completely honest with you guys, I want him to win. I enjoy his fight style. I love a guy who just goes in there and slings overhand left hook. I like that shit, right? It's kind of fun. And he makes big sounds, and his punches make big slapping noises when they land on the arms and shit. I like watching Josh Emmett for whatever reason. And it's also just because the man can pull off a highlight reel KO out of nowhere, right? He just needs to land one time clean, but he has a hard time landing his shots clean because he's just loading up, and you know exactly what he's going to throw at you. And Zalal is just going to quote-unquote style on him, but like in the end, it'll just be him on his bike the entire fight, and I'm going to hate this fight, but I hope I'm wrong, please. Yes, I'm picking Zalal by decision, but please, Josh Emmett, KO this man, please. I beg of you. Oh, no, oh, what happened here? What the fuck? Go back. Oh, here we have it, man. Like, my most anticipated fight on the card, realistically, any one of Yuri Prochazka's fights will always be my most anticipated fight on any card that's on, because Yuri Prochazka is the most entertaining fighter potentially of all time. He guarantees a barn burner every single time. And Khalil Roundtree is a pretty violent man, and he looked really good last time out against Jamal Hill, right? But Yuri Prochazka is Yuri Prochazka. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think he beats everybody except for Alex Pereira. I think he beats Ankalaev as well when they eventually fight. I do. Yuri is just that guy, and I don't know how to describe it. He just walks forward. He eats everything on the chin, and I worry about that, obviously, with Khalil Roundtree being a big hitter, but he doesn't have that sharpness to sort of put people out. And Yuri Prochazka has good eyes, right? He's good at seeing the shots coming at him. He's been developing good head movement. You know, he's been developing that pretty well in his last few fights. Like against Jamal Hill, suddenly he was slipping off the center line, landing counter right hook, left hook behind it. Shit, man, he looked really, really good. And if he comes in there looking like that, zeroed in like he was against Jamal, I think he'll finish Khalil Roundtree as well. I do. I think he'll finish Khalil Roundtree because he'll force Khalil to fight. And if Khalil doesn't get that finish, which I don't think he can finish Yuri. There aren't many people who can finish Yuri. I think Khalil will fade midway through the second round, and it'll start to show. And that's when Yuri will start landing his big shots, walking Khalil down, you know, causing him to shell up, fucking pulling on the arms, landing elbows around the guard, through the guard, dude, knees to the body. He's just going to be unloading the tool bag all over Khalil Roundtree midway through round 2, I believe. And I think going into round 3, it'll be very clear that Yuri Prochazka has taken over. And in the third round, I think he is going to just TKO Khalil Roundtree just with volume, and he's going to beat him up bad, I believe. I believe and I hope, man. I hope, because Yuri Prochazka, we need him as champion. He is so fucking entertaining. The guy doesn't have to say any words, and he's one of the biggest stars we have because he's Yuri Prochazka. We love him. I want him to win so bad. I get Khalil's very entertaining as well. I just don't think he has it here. I don't think he has what it takes to beat Yuri, man. I know he throws big shots, dude. He does. He throws big shots. But I think he just lacks that sharpness to put Yuri out. I do. Yuri, third round TKO. And on to the co-main event here. Merab Dvalishvili versus Corey Sandhagen. Now, this is a super intriguing one, I guess, because it's a fighter who Merab hasn't beaten yet. Finally, I know it's not often you see a fighter at bantamweight in the top 5 who Merab hasn't already done the fucking same thing to that he does to everybody else. It's nuts. But I think the same thing will happen to Corey here. I do. I think the same thing will happen here. Corey Sandhagen, in his biggest fights, he always tends to sort of freeze up and allow his opponents to dictate the pace. And if you're going to allow Merab to dictate the pace, then you're going to get tired. I don't care who you are. I don't care if your name's Corey Sandhagen. Whatever. I don't care who you are. If you allow Merab to dictate the pace, which not many fighters really have the choice on or not, Merab just sets the pace because he's a crazy son of a bitch. He sets that pace early on. I could see Corey winning around here early on, but eventually Merab's going to weigh on him like he always does. And I think even if Merab is majority striking here, it's going to work out for him, right? Look at him against Sean O'Malley the second time around. Sean was so worried about the takedown threat that he was getting caught with big shots, and Merab was actually loading up and throwing big shots. We're not used to seeing him actually land big like that and have like a noticeable impact on his opponents. But against Sean, he was. And of course, Corey has a fantastic chin, so I don't think that Merab is going to go out there and again starts this dude. I don't think so. Of course not, right? And Merab needs to worry so much about a flying knee, right? A knee up the middle from Corey Sandhagen is always a possibility. I worry about that. But man, like I said, Corey, he's given me no reason to really believe in him in a big fight like this. He just freezes up, and he allows his opponents to work too much on him. Think about the Umar fight. I feel like that was such a winnable fight for him in retrospect, and I feel like he just gave it away. He wasn't active enough. He even shows too much willingness to give up his back on the ground, just, try and roll out of shit. And listen, Corey, he's too much of a nerd to win this fight. Merab doesn't think, he just goes. Corey Sandhagen thinks too much, and it's to his detriment. And it'll hurt him once again, I believe. And Merab will retain that title and then further cement his status as the greatest bantamweight of all time. I do not see a route to victory here for Corey Sandhagen, in all honesty. Merab by decision, I think. I know some people will probably think that because he finished Sean O'Malley that he'll push for a finish here. But Corey's a different fighter. I think he'll be able to stay safer on the ground. And I know Corey's a good wrestler, right? So you may think that he can stuff the takedowns from Merab, but he's not even the strongest wrestler that Merab has fought. Not even close, as a matter of fact. I would say Peter Yan and of course, Umar are much stronger wrestlers than Corey Sandhagen. Obviously, he's made many leaps, right, as far as his grappling goes. His offensive grappling, he's shown big improvements recently. But it's just not going to do him any good here, man. Merab's going to win this one, and let's speak no more about it. Merab's the GOAT. Let's move on to the main event. And here we have Ankalaev against Alex Pereira. The rematch. First time around, I did pick Alex Pereira against my better judgment, of course. In retrospect, yes, Ankalaev is a super tough matchup for Alex Pereira. Okay, he can wrestle. He's a southpaw who clearly has the speed advantage and is a great counterpuncher. He is. I know we didn't get to see it much against Alex Pereira because Alex didn't really open up, right? So I know people want to blame Ankalaev for why their first fight was boring, but like Alex landed about 11 strikes to the head the entire time, and he essentially just spammed calf kicks for the entirety of like the opening 3 rounds, right? That's all he was really even trying to throw. It's almost like he drank the Kool-Aid too much and maybe watched a couple of Lucas Tracy videos or a couple of horse beef videos and decided, oh shit, all I have to do is spam leg kicks and I win the fight? Oh fuck. And then he just went and did exactly that, and it didn't work out for him, and he was kind of frozen up. Ankalaev, with his feinting, with his hand fighting, with his calculated pressure, his front kicks up the middle, keeping Alex Pereira guessing, keeping him backing up. Alex was like a deer in headlights in that fight. He was caught hesitating on multiple occasions. Ankalaev caught him on multiple occasions because he forced Alex Pereira to hesitate in these moments. And Ank would crack him with a jab, or crack him with that left hand that he had him on wobbly legs for, had him in trouble at the end of round 2, I believe it was, right? These moments, I believe, will become only more plentiful if Alex Pereira comes in here more aggressively, which we're expecting him to do so with the sparring footage that he's showing. Yeah, obviously, he's going to come out here with a different approach. I believe all or nothing approach. And could that do him well? Yes, it could. Right? Yes, it could. If he comes out there like that, this fight instantly turns into potentially even a 50-50. But Ankalaev is too sharp, man. The check right hook, that left hand down the middle. He's so sharp of a counterpuncher. And plus, there is that takedown threat. Right? Even though he didn't land any takedowns against Alex Pereira, that doesn't mean that Alex Pereira is not expecting Magomed to mix it up this time. And I would honestly expect Ankalaev to mix it up even more, implement the grappling even more going into this one, especially if Alex Pereira comes in more aggressively. So it's tough to see Alex win, dude. He looked slow against Ank. He did, and even in the sparring footage, he looks a little bit slower, and people can't forget his age, right? He's at the age where we start to see, or he's past the age where we start to see fighters decline. I get not in the heavier weight classes, but you have Magomed, who's pretty much in his prime years, and you have Alex Pereira, who got into the sport kind of late, and I believe we saw peak. We saw him peak. And I'm not encouraged by Alex Pereira's antics and him sort of embracing the sort of influencer life. Like, we don't really see that from Ankalaev, and that paints the picture of somebody who's just completely locked in on fighting and preparing for a fight. And we know these caucus fighters, they don't stray from their game plan. These are fighters who are very calculated, very technical, very well-rounded, and stick so closely to the game plan. And that's why they're so hard to beat. These guys are hard to beat for a reason. Ankalaev has a super high-level skill set. And as I said earlier in the video, I believe the only man to beat him will be Yuri Prochazka. Until then, I think Ankalaev will retain a strap here. And I hate to say it. I do. I hate to say it. I fucking hate it, man. I hate picking Ankalaev to beat Alex Pereira. I do. And of course, I was pondering it quite a bit. I was looking for every reason to pick Alex Pereira going into this fight. I was looking for every reason, but I just can't. I can't land on it. It doesn't make sense to me. Magomed Ankalaev, I could see him finishing Alex here, dude. I could, man. Either way it goes, I think this one will be a lot more decisive than the first one. Because the first fight, I know it was a clear Ank win, and Alex didn't do a lot of anything. Ankalaev didn't do a lot of anything either, if we're being real. The fact that it was that close and Alex Pereira had that little output shows that Ankalaev could have done a lot more. And I think that's very much dependent on what Alex Pereira does, and I think he will come in here, as I said, more aggressive, and Ankalaev will capitalize. And I think he will hurt Alex Pereira, and I hate to say knock him out in the third. I do. I think he'll knock him out in the third. But this is the prediction that I want to be wrong more than any others of my predictions ever. This is the one that I want to be wrong. I want to be incorrect here, so please, Alex Pereira, prove me wrong. Become a 3-time UFC champion, 2-time light heavyweight champion. Please, prove me wrong here. I will celebrate this incorrect prediction. I will. So feel free to rub it in if I'm wrong. Please rub it in, because I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. But that does conclude my thoughts on UFC 320. It's my full card predictions. Let me know in the comment section below whether you agree, you disagree. Let me know why you agree or disagree. If you have any thoughts about the video, about life in general, whatever it is, man, just let me know in the comment section. You know I love to read your comments and reply to your comments. I very much appreciate your comments, man. The fact that you take time out of your day to watch and then engage it with my video is appreciated, very much so. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one.